Mm. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered call-in show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Today is a holiday, and I said I was going to have this no matter what. So, look, in observance of Memorial Day, hopefully you had a good Memorial Day. But we said we'd have the show regardless. So, once again, we are here. So, if you don't know who I am, my name is Devon Morris. I'm going to be your guide on the show. What we talk about here is we answer questions about Scrum, Agile. We get into other stuff as we need to. But just welcome. For those that are planning to watch this, later this week, welcome. Hopefully you're having a great week. Now, the way the show operates is I open the floor for people to ask questions a few minutes after we talk about the topic. Normally it's about 15 to 20 minutes after the hour. It could be 30 minutes after the hour, depending on how big that topic is. Today's topic, we're talking about the connection of values between Memorial Day and Agile, right? And I think that there's four, maybe five values that really kind of lean well with both of them. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. But other than that, in terms of what's going on with me, we got classes coming. June's coming, so the 12th we got some classes. I got some private classes for sure. Probably the biggest thing that people would need to know about is the event. The bankable breakthrough event, which is going to be August 17th through the actual 19th, so a 3 day, 3 full day event, where we're turning your passion into profits. That's what we're doing. We're turning passion into profits. So the bankable breakthrough is what we call it, 2023. We've had people sign up for it already. I will just throw this in the chat. If you look at this in the future, you'll see it drop in the chat on YouTube. And for my folks on LinkedIn, I'll just jump over there and drop that in the chat for you as well, real quick. So let me just jump over there so I can make sure you all are good to go. So yeah, so it's just one of those things. Well, it's been a good past week. I mean, I'm starting up a new set of classes today. In terms of my PhD program, so it's back on the grind, y'all. Which is very normal, but I'm good with that. That's what's expected. Today was a good relaxing day when I rode my bike. Just doing things that I love to do, right, on a day like today. And then it's gonna be back to the grind tomorrow. So if you're here, make sure you say hi, whether you're on LinkedIn or you're actually here on YouTube. Just make sure you say hi, so I know that you're here. But we'll talk. So I just dropped that link. I want to get into our topic and then open the floor to see if we have any questions, and then we'll take it from there. So let's see. Let's double check. I see Azriel is here, the Scrum Master Pro. Elbow cough. I don't know why it shows. It always shows the actual emojis that way, like as the what the emoji actually is, right? Um, so welcome. So that being said, hopefully you're doing good. Let me go ahead and get us going and really talk about the topic of the night. Because I do want to make sure I touch bases with you all in terms of that topic, because I think it's a pretty good topic. Now, here's the deal. Let's just talk a little bit about a few things, right? First thing is, I have sons that have served in the military. Um, yeah, and successfully discharged, right? My father and uncle Marines, brother Marine, right? I never served myself, right? So I know family members in my family tree that died in wars for sure, right? So, on a day like today, Memorial Day, is designed for us to honor and remember the service members who gave their lives, right, to protect this country. That's what today is really about. Nothing more than just that, right? Um, and I know it might be interesting for me to draw a parallel with Agile, Scrum, Extreme Programming, Kanban. I'm just lumping all these things up into one big thing, right? But here's the deal. Even though these things seem to be quite different, one of them is about remembrance, right? While the other one is about software creation, probably is where you're going to find most Agile exists, right? Is with software creation. Um, the thing is this: they share some core values, and that's what you really know. They share some core values. If you was to go look at Scrum has core values. Kanban has core values. Extreme programming has values, right? And I think there's some common values that exist within the military in general, not just one particular branch, but in the military in general, right? So if we take a look at first Memorial Day, okay? Now, at least for my people, as I got older, it's been a little bit different, but to me, it's always been the sign and the kickoff of summer, right? That's usually the first thing. People barbecuing and enjoying family, right? So really, it becomes, you know, a way that holds right a lot of significance, right? I've always classically moved during this weekend. There's always something that happens in terms of moving with me on this weekend classically. Probably throughout my life, this weekend has always been something about moving, and that's been just a theme for me. I had to go move one of my kids back into college this weekend, so it's just always been a thing for me. But what this day in terms of Memorial Day does is it urges us to remember, actually respect and honor the sacrifices that those who serve our country have made, right? And some of them have given their life in terms of it, right? So you got to understand, and it underlines the values of courage, integrity, teamwork, and commitment, right? These are characteristics that are fundamental to our military, right? To the ethos of the military, okay? And that's really, really, really important, right? And I'm thankful that I have family members that have served, but that I have had the opportunity to enjoy time with them, right? And I've enjoyed time with them because they didn't sacrifice, they didn't die, right? Right. So I'm very thankful for that. Okay. Now I want to flip the script. I want to flip the script and talk about Agile for a second, right? Agile, Scrum, Stream Programming, Kanban. No matter how you look at Agile, it has its birthplace in the tech industry, you know, in software development, right? So when you think about Agile in general, it's a collection of values and principles. But each one of these frameworks that exist associated with the Agile Manifesto and its principles, they're usually structured around work. They're structured around efficiency, change and adaptability, and collaboration. That's classically themes that you'll see. And you'll also see that there are some tenets that go across them as well, like courage, commitment, respect, and teamwork, right? And if you think about what we just talked about, these things kind of align very, very well. I said integrity with one and respect with another, but the other things were similar: courage, teamwork, and commitment, all similar across them, right? And if I was to think about respect and integrity, we can add those to the mix, right? So that really takes five things between them, right? So yeah, so then if I take probably the number one here is courage. And if I look at courage, courage is an interesting beast, right? Because for someone to risk their life, for someone to go, okay, here's the deal. One of my little cousins just signed up for the Air Force, right? He didn't left. He's en route to the Air Force and about to go into boot camp, right? And when you sign your name on the dotted line, right? It takes a lot of courage to sign your life over to somebody else. To say to somebody else, I'm going to put you in charge of my well being, right? Forget the battlefield because we know that it takes a lot of courage on the battlefield when it comes to the military, right? But then when you take all the threats away, the physicality of courage, and you think about what happens within the space where Agile's used, right? Courage is about the ability to seek new solutions, right? To pivot when something is not going right, to really truly voice opinions that may not be popular, right? It takes some level of bravery, some level of courage to take that kind of risk. And by no means is not the same. When you got bullets flying at you, that's a different thing, But when I think about, you know, somebody in the military or a Marine protecting another Marine that maybe is being bullied. That takes some courage, right? So it doesn't always have to be, guns blazing, right? It just really doesn't. But in both instances, they're courage. One of them is way more cerebral, one of them is more physical, but there's tons of cerebral courage within the military. So then we take that a little bit further, right? Commitment, right? Commitment has to be a cornerstone of military service, right? You dedicate yourself to a period of time of being in the service, right? That's a flipping commitment, right? You don't honor that commitment, I think you can go to jail, right? But it's just a cornerstone of military service. You can't get around that, right? And it's also integral. It's a big part of Agile, right? You think about from an Agile perspective, teams making commitments in the sprints or iterations, right? If you want to call it that. They own what they're responsible for. They stay focused on goals. The commitment is not a project as whole, but it's the the team committing to something, right? It's almost like in the military, a team committing to getting an objective done, right? So you find similarities that go across that, right? Another one that I would say is teamwork, right? Teamwork is another one of those things, right? And teamwork is important, right? Now, in the military, in the battlefield, teamwork is a life and death situation, right? And let's not, I don't think there's anything to compare to that, right? I really do not believe there's anything to compare to that, right? That's a life or death situation, right? Um, and agile teams, yeah, they're not in a life and death situation, right? Even the software that they're working on may be critical, but it's usually not life and death, right? Math, it's just not. Um, but within agile, effective teams are the foundation for success. It's really the bedrock for success, right? Um, the agile framework really relies on self-organizing teams. Kind of where did the idea of self-organizing teams really have most of its foundation? In association with the military. You understand? If I was to look at Jeff Sutherland, right? Jeff Sutherland, kind of inventor, co-creator, Scrum, whatever you want to call him, right? He tells stories about being a jet, fighting with jets, right? Jet fighter, right? And doing OODA loops and all these kind of things. You'll hear him talking about if you ever really listen to him, right? Um, and everything that he really talks about, he has a parallel for it, at least from a Scrum perspective, in the military, right? So for me, when I look at it, I'm just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's this tie between the military and Scrum and amongst other things, right? So realistically, when you step back, it's really important for you to understand that teamwork is in essence the biggest key, right? Collaboration is the biggest key. We're working on complex adaptive problems, and so collaboration is really, really required. It's needed. Having feedback loops, all that stuff is really, truly important, right? And Agile leans toward that. Is the strength of a team, and really what you're looking for with that collaboration is the synergy that the team gets in that collaboration versus them doing things individually. And I believe the same thing is true for the military, right? Absolutely true for the military. So teamwork is absolutely critical. Probably the last thing that I'll mention is respect, right? Because I think respect is really truly embodied in the United States of America and the way we honor our fallen heroes. This is very serious. I have been to other countries, and their military, their, I want to say alumni, but their veterans are not treated the same way. They're not, they don't have the same reverence. They don't get the same kind of benefits. They're just different. I mean, really, really different. And the way we treat our veterans is just night and day difference versus some other countries. So, you know, honoring our fallen heroes is some of the best things that we can do for those that remain behind, that they left behind. Family, loved ones, in general, we want to make sure we always honor and move respect forward when it comes to them. And if I flip it on the agile side, respect is essential. It is extremely important of what we do and how we do it moving forward, right? Um, Respecting other members' abilities, contributions, valuing different perspectives so you can have diversity of thought, respecting the process itself, respecting how we're going to improve the product that we're building, just building that environment where respect actually exists, normally leads to, far less problems, right? Far less problems, right? I think I'll leave it at that, at those four, right? Because if I really look at integrity, integrity was the other one that stood out there. But I may see that as more of a military thing, but I don't see that integrity as a big, big agile thing, right? I mean, I can make up something for that, right? But I'm just gonna move integrity out, right? Um, so really, really, very, very important. So anyway, let's wrap this up, right? Um, with today being Memorial Day, again, it is important for us to remember the courageous men and women. Hear what I just said. Men and women who have upheld the values of serving this country here, serving our country, right or wrong, serving this country, right or wrong, right? Because we're not saying that this country is doing things perfect, right? We're not saying that this country is good at everything. No, no, no. Right or wrong, them serving this country. We need to appreciate them, right? How these values drive, the same values drive Agile. These same values drive Agile. And a lot of these values come out of the military. It's just facts, right? These principles, the courage, the commitment, teamwork, and respect, they really serve as kind of like this guiding light. Um, but definitely serves as a guiding light for Agile. But it just really gives us an opportunity to honor our heroes, the nation's heroes. So Memorial Day is absolutely important. Um, it just is one of the few times, one of the few places in the world that really takes its time to really, really honor, those who have served, right? And so, if you got a veteran in your family, if you have you know, if you don't have anybody in your family, right, do something good for vets, right? Do something good for veterans. Um, Even if they haven't been in war, um, it's one of those things where the ones that have died, and when you go to one of the national cemeteries, and I've been to a few national cemeteries, to see just lines and lines and lines of people that have given their life. That's sobering, man. That's sobering. I mean, it's really, really sobering. Um, you know, it's not something that I want to, yeah, it's just really sobering, right? It's really sobering, right? So find ways to support veterans, find ways to honor those that have fallen, right? Those fallen heroes. Let's always find ways to take a moment of silence, give some respect out to them because without their sacrifices, we probably wouldn't have the freedoms that we have today. we really probably would not have the freedoms that we have today. And we get to enjoy a vast amount of freedoms because of these people that have given their life. So, on that note, I'm going to leave that topic alone for the day. Just know that there is a connection between Memorial Day and the Agile values and principles. That connection is not meant to be of disrespect. It's one of honoring those who have given given all they could give for us. Okay. So on that note, let's see. Let's open up the floor for any questions that you all may have. Any questions that you may all have, because I'm considering this is going to be an early night, right? Because it's a holiday night. And I know that there are some people here. So if you actually have some questions, please do me a favor, drop your questions in the chat, or you're also welcome to go ahead and join us on this show if you want to. Most of you all here would have the information on the show, but I'm going to grab it anyway and just drop it in the chat. So then there's no question. So let me do that on LinkedIn too. So yeah, feeling good, feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. Yeah, I was going to not have the show, but I just said I would always have the show. So that's okay. In the future, we will, probably slow down on Mondays that are holiday Mondays. Any questions, drop them in the chat, or you're welcome to join me on the show. Okay. Give just a couple minutes here to see if anybody got any questions, and then if you don't, we'll just shut it down for the day. Other than that, I think life has been good. I'm over here doing some experiments. I'm working. When I say I'm working hard, I'm really working hard to make sure that everything's set up for the actual event. It's 3 months out, but is it 3 months out? May, June, July, August. Yeah, so 3 months out, right? So less than 3 months out is this event, right? So 2.5 months. So if you have not seen the event page, take a look at it. I think you would like what you see. Take a look at it. I think you will actually like what you see. And it's $97 for 3 days. If you want VIP, $197. So that right there is something you cannot beat for 3 days of information where I'm asking you to deal with your fears, conquer, well, deal with your limitations, conquer any challenges that you have, and just really show yourself that you deserve to dream big and be the person that you dream of and get paid to do it. You understand? Be the person you dream of and get paid to be that person. Turning your passion into profits. That's what it's all about. So that's what we're going to do. So we're kind of good. Yeah. You know, yeah, Asriel, the this again, it's holiday. I'm not expecting really many people here, right? There's not a lot of people on. So I'm not expecting a lot of questions, right? Um, so we're good to go. And that's okay. You can multitask. It's just one of those days. Next week we'll be good to go. We'll be have a nice show. We have nice shows all the time. So I'm not really I mean, we have nice shows all the time, right? So I'm not complaining about what we do and what we don't. I love this little channel. I don't even I'm not even doing all these efforts to try to grow it into this big channel. I'm just trying to be useful and answer people's questions more than anything else. Um, so then they can be happy and good to go. So that being said, I don't see any questions coming across. So what I'm going to say to you all is this has been a good show. I wanted to make sure that I came on Memorial's Day. I wanted to make sure that I honor, at least speak out about those people who have sacrificed, right? I mean, and I don't have any close family members that have. I have distant family members that have. But I just want to always honor that, right? It's one of the things I've never done is I've never been a part of the military. It's probably one aspect of my life that I wish I could reverse and would have been able to serve in the military. Um, but I didn't. So on that note, we're gonna leave it at that. Look, y'all, I'm gonna say good night to you. Hey, you enjoy the rest of your week. We will meet next Monday and continue this journey. Okay. Other than that, everybody, look, have a good one. I will see you next week, 8 p.m. This channel. See you later. Have a good one. Bye bye.